Hi, thanks for joining me. I'm Geraldine and I'm the Paper Puffin, and I'm going to show you today how you can make this box card. Let's go through what you're going to need to make the box. You're going to need 2 pieces of cardstock. The large piece is cut at 5.5 inches by 11 inches. You're going to need a smaller piece of cardstock, which is cut at 3 inches by 3 5/8 inches. The Designer Series paper is going to be cut at, for these first flaps here, these 3 flaps, they're cut at 2 3/8 by 2 1/4. These pieces here, which cover your box front and sides, are 2 3/8 by 2 3/4. And this piece out the back here is cut at 2 3/8 by 5 1/4. You're also going to need a little piece of ribbon. I use the braided linen ribbon. And you're going to need these items that will pop up inside the box, as well as the sentiment and the background. The houses came from the Holiday Home Bundle, so I stamped the 3 houses, colored those with Stampin' Blends, and cut them out using the coordinating dies. I also stamped 2 of the lampposts, and those are fussy cut out. I stamped the sentiment, Happy New Home, and Happy New Home was cut out using the Tasteful Labels dies. And then the background circle for the sentiment was also cut with the Tasteful Label dies. I set those aside for now. The pieces for the trees were cut out from the Sprinkles of Life bundle, which is also a retired bundle from Stampin' Up. And it comes with a matching punch or coordinating punch. I cut 2 of the leaves for the trees, 2 of the trunks with the branches, and 3 of the little birds. Those were punched out using that coordinating punch. I also need some pieces of window sheet that I'm going to use to attach all those pop-up items to the inside of the box. The window sheets are cut at 1/2 inch by 3 1/4 inch, and I have 3 of those. Then I have 4 that are cut at 1/4 inch by 3 1/4 inches. These thinner ones will be used to attach the lampposts and the trees, and the thicker ones will be used to attach the houses. To prepare your box, you now need to score. So I'll just grab my scoring tool. And you're going to take your larger piece of cardstock and you're going to place the 11-inch side up at the top. You're going to score this then at 2 5/8, 5 1/4, 7 7/8, and 10 1/2. You're then going to turn your cardstock and you're going to score it at 3 inches. The smaller piece of cardstock you're going to place with the 3 5/8 side at the top. You're going to score it at 1/2 inch. Then you're going to flip your cardstock around and score it again at 1/2 inch. You're going to need to then cut this piece in half. Remember, this piece was cut at 3 inches by 3 5/8. So you're going to place the 3-inch side in your cutter up at the top, and you're going to cut it at 1 1/2 inches so that you cut the piece in half. This will result in you getting 2 pieces that you're then going to burnish along the score lines so that you get a shape that looks like this for each one. Then you're going to place tear and tape on this side on each one, and then on this side on each one. These are the pieces that are going to go inside your box that will hold those pop-up pieces. To assemble the box, you're now going to need to grab your larger piece of paper, and you're going to turn it so that your 1/2 inch side is on this side, on my right. I'm going to snip off this rectangular piece, and then I will cut this at a miter. So this will be cut like so. You then remove that little piece. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to cut from this score line at the top, this vertical score line, till you get to this horizontal score line. And you're going to do that 1, 2, 3 times. If you're nervous about cutting these lines straight, you can place it back in your cutter and do it that way if you like. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to burnish these score lines, but I'm not going to burnish the one that runs horizontal. I'm only going to burnish the vertical score lines. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some tear and tape right along here on this little flap. I'll remove the backing. Then I'm going to place my box like this so that I can just overlap the one side onto that tear and tape, line it up, and ensure that they're sealed. I now have made the box, and I want you to just notice where the back of the box is going to be. So that's where I attached the pieces, so this flap will be the back. I'm not going to fold this down. I will fold down the front flap and the 2 side flaps. Then to ensure that they're nicely folded, I'll come in and burnish them. At this point then, I like to round the corners of my front flaps and this back piece. And I will round the corners of the corresponding designer series paper. I'll attach all of that designer series paper, and so I'll jump ahead and show you what that looks like. So this is what we have. I've attached the long piece along the back, I've attached these front flaps and these pieces. Note that the flaps all now have their corners rounded, as well as the DSP, or the designer series paper. The next step is for me to add my little pieces that looked like the letter Z. They're going to go inside like this, so that I can hold those houses and trees and such up. So to do that, I'm going to remove the backing of the paper, and I'm going to place my piece inside like this. I like to place it so that it's just a tiny bit below the top edge. Make sure it's nice and straight. And then I like to fold my box together, and that'll ensure that everything will be lined up nicely on the inside. You'll see it looks like this. I'm going to do that again with the second piece. I'll remove the backing of my tear and tape. I want to line this up so that it is in the same direction as this last piece. So for me, I have to go like this. You can see here. Okay, I'm going to place it in. I'm going to put it just a little bit below the surface there of the edge. And then I'm going to attach it. Then I'm going to close my box. And the pieces will line up. I'll give it a nice press down so that everything is connected. And I'll go both ways. And you do that a couple of times just to ensure that your box is moving nicely. Now I'm ready to start attaching all those pieces on the inside. So now I'm going to need my window sheet. I'm going to need some mini dots, mini glue dots. So I have a piece of window sheet here, my mini glue dots. I'm grabbing my take your pick tool and I'm going to get one of the houses. Now this house I'd like to attach here in the front. So I'm first going to attach my window sheet to the back of my house. And so I'll open up my glue dots and attach 2 glue dots to my window sheet. And then place my window sheet on the house. Now what I have is something that looks like this. This house is then going to get placed here. So I'm going to need another glue dot in order to attach the window sheet to the box itself. Go back in, grab another glue dot, and place my house wherever I would like it in the front. I typically like to place it so that it's just a little bit above, so that it has some room to move. Now the next thing I'd like to do is attach the next house, and the next house that I've chosen to place is this one. I'm going to do the same thing. I'll grab one of the pieces of window sheet. I'll place 2 glue dots on it, like so. I'll then place the house on top of those glue dots. And then I'll decide where I would like to place this house in the box. For me, I'd like to place it right here. So I'll grab another glue dot to ensure that I can attach the window sheet to the inside of the box. And then the final house that I'll place, this one, I'll grab my last piece of window sheet. I'll put 2 glue dots on it. And attach it to the house. Then I'll decide where I want this one to be placed inside. So I want it to be placed about right there. So I'll put another glue dot so I can attach it. Now I still have to add my lamp posts and my trees. So I'll show you the lamp posts and then we'll skip ahead. So I'm taking the thinner pieces of window sheet and I'll really only need a glue dot, one this time. I'll place that behind the lamp portion and then I'll decide where I'd like the lamp to go. And for me, I would like the lamp to go here. So you get the idea. I'm just placing everything now where I'd like it to be inside the box. Now I'm going to assemble the trees like this. I'd take the tree trunk and the leaves and then the little bird. I'll attach all those together, attach them to a piece of window sheet, and place them in the box. You'll see here, I did that with this tree and then with this tree. I also placed the other lamppost in beside that house, and I placed a little bow in the corner. For the front flap, I'll take my circular piece and I'll glue that here to the front using a couple of dimensionals. I'll place the Happy New Home, and then I used some embellishments, these ones, and selected a color that I liked and placed it on either side with a little heart. I hope that helps you to make your own pop-up card in a box, and thank you for watching.